Welcome to Dollars, Lifestyle, and Charity, a finance podcast for gamers. Romans and I are both money guys, but we're also gamers, so we wanted to put this pod together to help gamers like us with some of their tough money topics that can sometimes feel as hard as a Souls boss.
We're talking budgeting, saving, paying off debt, and how to not fall for all the traps life throws at you.
Grab a health potion and let's start stacking gold IRL. This is DLC, a finance podcast for gamers. Welcome to Dollars, Lifestyle, and Charity, a finance podcast for gamers. I'm Scruffy, this is Romans, and today we're going to be breaking down three of the hot button topics that everyone on social media, on YouTube, has a lot of opinions about. And we want to break it down, what we think about it, shoot you straight, give you some good advice, and break it down, kind of what we think about it. So I'm looking forward to it. Should be good.
I'm looking to respectfully disagree with everything that you say. This is going to be a great time.
So we actually do some of the things we're going to be talking about today. We do actually have different opinions on. So it'll actually be really good because, we've both been, to different degrees successful. Romans has built a couple more companies than I have, but I'm the financial advisor here.
That's
so.
right. That's right.
My opinion is
I'm
correct.
also way more humble than him.
Clearly. Romans is Moses 2.0, the most humble man on the face of the earth.
That's right. Let me see that rock.
Are you going to be tapping it or are you going to be hitting it? That's the
I
real
don't know.
question.
In God's name, I'm not. No way up. I don't want to die yet. We're good.
A little Bible joke for you theological scholars out there.
That's right.
But yeah, I want to break down three pieces of advice that everyone hears and break down kind of some of the realities behind it. So the first thing I want to talk about is, I'm sure everyone here has heard that if you're renting, you are throwing your future away and you are completely wasting all of your money. If you're not actually having a mortgage, owning a home, you are behind the eight ball and will never succeed because of it. I think this is a piece of advice. There's some truth to it, but it is vastly incomplete because there is a lot of moving parts to owning a home, and it is not a small responsibility. Purchasing a home is a really, really big thing. And I think that renting for a certain period of your time is not actually a waste of money. In fact, I think depending on where you're at, depending on your financial situation, your maturity, your just ability to fix things, I think renting might actually be a smart thing for people to be doing.
So I want to disagree with you here, but I'll tell you, when I bought my first, or when I first got married, we had to rent. You don't, just because you're married doesn't mean you can afford a house. And when I first got married, I was getting paid $44,000. This is way back in 2004, so 22 years ago. And I think she was getting paid 35 or something. She didn't choose the same career as me. She chose a way more relaxed career, which when we did the math, wait, I'm making 20% more, but I'm working 60% harder? This doesn't make sense. So, combined, we were just under 100 and we couldn't afford a home then. So we rented. But what was funny for me is that when we rented, we were very rich. Because I imagine the rent at that time, I think we paid $1,300, maybe $1,500 for our apartment. We had so much disposable income, and we had no. I wasn't a Christian, or at least I don't think I was a Christian in my opinion, but she would say I was. But I don't think I wasn't practicing my faith. I'll tell you that. And so we were just blowing the money, easy in, easy out. We weren't saving or anything. So I think renting can make sense, but you got to pair it with discipline, which we had none. We had Texas de Brazil, if you know what that is, Fogo de Chao, Brazilian.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that
Every
spot.
night. It was great.
Isn't that $50?
Yeah, even then it was $50 all in. Now it's $50 without tip or anything. We would go every night. We're like, and my wife weighs $150, $115 wet, but I was just like, I felt like it, and she's like, sure.
They were so happy to see you walk in the door. They were just raking in money hand over
Oh,
fist
and
because
she,
you would have 2 steaks and then leave.
yeah, she'd have like 10 pieces, and I'm like, I want 40 more. The gluttoning occurring. So yeah, I guess I agree with you. And before we move on, I'm not sure if we're moving on from housing. Is I'll tell you,
No, we're not.
if you're first time buying house, do not buy a house older than 1950, or in this case 1960 now. Basically, don't buy an old house. It's a trap. There's a lot of things, unless you're handy and grew up with a handy parent that taught you things. If you're like me and grew up with no knowledge, everything in the house breaks. You don't know how to fix anything. You try to fix it. You go to Home Depot 6 times. It's still broken. You hire a professional. They charge you what you should have paid in the beginning. And now you have all these extra parts that are still around the house to this day, even now in 2026. So I'm pretty handy now, but I'm like, I've been adulting for 20 years, so I finally can fix stuff.
Mhm.
No one tells you that. When you rent, the landlord fixes all of that. Ain't your problem. As long as you have a good
Yeah.
landlord. Yeah.
And this is actually this is the exact same thing I wanted to go into next is a lot of the time there's a lot of hidden costs behind uh, owning a home that you don't necessarily think about. And one of the biggest things is what Romans is talking about right there, like random things breaking. And some of these random things are not cheap. Like if you have a washer and dryer unit or a dishwasher or disposal system, like all these things break. And when you're renting, you don't have to worry about that at all. The landlord or the company that owns the home, owns the apartment, they take care of all that. If you're in an apartment building, there's probably someone who lives at the apartment building that is the maintenance guy that will come up to your apartment and fix it that day if something breaks. If you have, a good apartment. But like if you're the owner of that, whose responsibility is it? Yours. You're footing the bill for literally everything. So like Romans was saying, like if you are not prepared to be able to take on that burden of like actually being disciplined enough to when something breaks learn how to fix it and then move on or just pay to have someone else fix it, you are going to be up a creek without a paddle because things always break. I can, as a homeowner, I'm sure Romans can confirm this, there is never not a project you're working on. There is always something that is broken or needs to be upgraded or needs to be fixed. There's yard work, whatever it is, there is always something to be done. And it's not just like, oh, you own a home and then it's great. Like, oh, I'm making all of this money in equity. Like, yes, the money you're going is building equity in your home, which is a very good thing. Real estate is a great investment. That's a really, really good, important thing to be investing in at some point. But there's a lot more responsibilities that come with it too. A lot of people don't talk about property taxes. Property taxes suck. As someone who is preparing to write a check for their property taxes, it sucks. It's a lot of money just to go to the government. And I'm going to homeschool my kids. I'm not even going to be using the public school system. So I'm paying other people's kids to go to school. Completely useless and money that is just being flushed down a toilet. Uh, so,
Thank you for your
yeah.
donation. Uh, I will tell you. I would love to tell you one stupid story of home repair, but I have so many. I don't know which one to tell you. I almost really you choose one, and I'll tell you what stupid thing I did. I'll tell you one quick one. My septic tank backed up. I looked up online
Oh
and it says maybe
no.
your septic tank is clogged. So I
Oh
found I
no.
opened it and it sure looked clogged. So you know what a common sense guy does? I manually emptied it out myself. I got a wet vac and I sucked my own septic tank and threw it in the drain field, threw it down the hill manually. It took me about 7 hours. Do you do you know what happened the next day? It rained. You know what water
Oh
does?
no.
The water filled the septic tank that I had just manually emptied for 7 hours. Because I didn't want to spend the 15,000 to build a new drain field. And so long story short, I then had to call. Oh, I told the story wrong. I called the septic company. They came out. So I said, "Oh, maybe it needs to be emptied." They came and they emptied it. Oh, I forgot the stupid part. I totally told the story wrong. So they came and they emptied it. Then it rained. Then I noticed it was full again. I lost my mind. I was very infuriated because I just paid to empty this thing. So that's when I emptied it myself. Spent 6 hours emptying it. It rained again. You know what I just learned after the fact? This is a real good moment for you. Septic tanks in Florida are always full. I'll say it again. Septic tanks in Florida are always full. I did not know this. So the real problem was in the septic tank. So I bought this thing, I forget what it's called, and it got through the roots that were in the septic and fixed it. Lo and behold, all I had to do was buy a bottle of something and pour it for 2, 3 months.
Oh, yeah. See, I have a packet that I flush down the toilet every month, so that doesn't happen.
Yeah, you're good. So don't not do that. I lived in my home for about we lived in this home for about 3 to 4 years before doing that. So yeah,
Oh no.
because no one tells you that. No one tells you how to maintain a septic tank. And
Yeah.
just so you know, I own 3 homes with septic tanks. I have one home that's on city, and I'll tell you, I miss that house. I miss that house. Of my 4 homes, that one's my favorite, because it's on city water. I love the water pressure. My other 3 houses. The other thing about if you're not on septic, sorry, there's a whole other. Sorry, one more comment. If you're not on city water sewer, your pressure could suck. And so I can't run my pressure washer because I love to pressure washer. It's my guilty thing. I love to pressure wash. I love to blast stuff. I can't even do it in the
It's
house I
so
live in. The one
satisfying.
I'm recording right now. This house right here. This house. I'm still trying to figure out how to get the pressure to enjoy my little hobby on the side, which is blasting dirt with
Mhm.
high pressure water. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But like that's one example of dozens upon dozens of things that come up. So like when you're just learning, like especially if you're just like starting a career, if you are like learning what it means to be a streamer, if this career is for you, maybe don't tie yourself down to a house if you don't know for sure that that's where you're going to be long term. Like it's a lot of responsibility. Jobs change, plans change. It's good to have some flexibility, especially when you're getting started. Like I think this is one of the pieces of advice from Dave Ramsey that I absolutely agree with. Like if you're about to get married, wait at least a year until you're married. You've been married for about a year or so to buy a house because, he says for different things, but like it's legitimately good to learn what your spouse likes and how they operate and what it is going to be to like run a household together. It's a heck of a lot easier to do that with someone else's property where they're paying for mistakes than you
Yeah, so my wife almost burned our first house down. Sorry, one more story.
are.
We got married and we moved in together. She didn't know that dryers had lint traps. And
Oh
she'd been
no.
doing the laundry for years. And she finally said to me, she said, I think we need a new dryer. I said, why? She said, I have to run our clothes like 4 times to dry anything. I said, that's not how it works. So I go over and I pulled an entire sweater out of there. Like,
Oh no.
like it was so much, so full. So yeah, there's just a lot of. But I will tell you, don't buy more house than you need. For me, learned I need it. I need a 2-car garage. I cannot be happy with a 1-car garage. So I can handle more than a 2-car garage, but and there's certain things you don't know you need. Like my wife really wants a pool. She doesn't use it, but she really needs it. I don't know why, but that's why being married is difficult. But we have a pool now. No one ever uses it. I pay a guy every month to clean it, because we also suck at cleaning the pool. Uh, so
So
buy the
yeah, I
right house.
think
Buy the right house you need. Don't just buy the biggest house you can afford.
yeah. And that's a really good point. Something I want to tag onto that is don't be in a rush to buy a house just because it's the right thing to do to buy a house. Like be patient and wait for the right house. Like if anyone who's a Christian who's looking to buy a house, I would encourage you to take a lot of time, pray about it, seek the Lord and really get a hope image of what that house is going to look like rather than just saying, "Oh, this is in my price range. I'm going to buy that house." Actually know what you're looking for, know what you're believing for so that you can actually approach that purchase in faith rather than just approaching it as a financial transaction. If you approach it as purely a financial transaction, you're going to put yourself in a position to make some mistakes.
And buyer beware if you're in a place where HOAs exist. there can be some tough
Mm.
times. There are some lovely HOAs, but there are some terrible ones.
There's the neighborhoods where you'll get all the nasty rams. So, yeah, so I think renting, you're not completely throwing money away. It provides flexibility and time for you to know what you want. So, like, sometimes the thing with personal finance is sometimes there is a right mathematical answer, but it's not the right answer for you. And, there's only so much of personal finance that if it's the right mathematical thing, but it's going to piss your spouse off or put you in a position that you don't want to be in, it's not the right answer, even if mathematically this makes the most sense. It's like the same reason why, like, mathematically, Dave Ramsey's plan of paying off debt is wrong. Mathematically, it is wrong, but it works because it's an emotional thing. It gets people motivated to keep doing the plan. So, not all the time is the math answer the correct answer.
I agree. I am very happy to say every single one of my houses is paid off. I would hate
That's
to have a
huge.
mortgage. So there's a certain freedom. Sure, I'd probably have a lot more money right now that I think about it. I don't like to think about it. So let's move on. But I'm happy that I don't owe anyone anything. Uh, yeah,
Yeah,
it's cool.
yeah, absolutely. Segment two. This is something that I am very passionate about. Both Romans and I are very passionate about this. Are credit cards evil? And I think there's two kind of like positions, and I think both Romans and I are at these two positions. Pay them off every single month. Don't make sure you don't pay interest, whatever you do, and then just
Ooh.
don't touch them. Don't touch them with a 10-foot pole. And yeah, so I very proud to say I have never actually had a credit card. My credit score is 0. Well, it might not be 0 anymore technically, but before I bought this house, it was 0. So I am like, you don't need it. Like that's the biggest thing a lot of people say is, when you're a teenager, you're learning how to manage money. Everyone's like, oh, you have to have a credit card to start building your credit. Don't get me wrong. A good credit score, let me emphasize that, a good credit score can be a helpful thing. It can help you to borrow money easier. Because purchasing a house without a credit score does make things more complicated. You have to get the loan manually underwritten, which means you can't just pick whatever mortgage company you want. You need to actually find a lender that is willing to do the work to manually underwrite it for you. And similarly with other things, renting cars are more complicated. I just went on a trip this weekend, and there's only certain rental car companies I can rent from because I don't have a credit card. So that cuts my options down a little bit. But I have never and will never pay any interest on any of my money. And especially for someone like, yourself, hopefully. Hopefully you know yourself well. But especially if you're a person that isn't maybe the most disciplined, things can sometimes fall through the cracks. I would highly recommend just avoid credit cards. Don't mess with it because even if you just forget to pay one time, that is a very, very painful lesson.
So as you're speaking, I just checked my credit card. My new one is due tomorrow, and I have to move some money around. So I've been on this journey. So I like credit cards. I like points. I've been trying to min max my points. I've just decided recently because I've been flying so much, I need to figure out which airlines to get status on. And so I've chosen American Airlines because I live in Florida. If you live in certain other states, other airlines can make sense to you. Unless you're scruffy, it never makes sense. It's all bad. Don't do it. And it's funny. I checked it. If I didn't do what I just did while you were talking, I probably would have been late tomorrow. Tomorrow for the first time because I didn't have enough money in the right account that pays that specific credit card. So credit
You're
cards gets
welcome.
very confusing when you min max it like me. Oh man, so there's this one bank called Basque Bank. There used to be another bank called UFB Direct. I don't know. They're not around anymore. But every dollar in there, you'd get like 2.5 cents miles on American Airlines. The bank closed. I went to another bank. I forgot about it. I had $7,000 in this random bank that I let it sit there for points. Thankfully, I've been making points this whole time, but I did the math. You make more money right now earning interest at a bank at 3 to 4% than you
Mm-hmm.
do earning the miles on a credit card. So I need it for status because I fly a lot, and status matters because of how you get on the plane and the perks you get. Like
Mm-hmm.
you get automatic upgrade to first class because I'm cheap. I have never paid for first class, and now that I know status can get it for free, oh baby, I'm coming. So, because first class is nice. I've flown it a couple times, and it is definitely a treat. But if you can fly for $400, why would I spend 3,000? I don't. Aren't we going to the
Yeah.
same location? So, anyways, I like my points. The same time next year, I will have class one status or whatever it's called, an American. And if you fly with me, I can bump you up with me. So fly with me somewhere. Oh, Scruffy, hypocrite, you can come with me. You come with me first class, me and you.
Listen, I will piggyback on someone else's credit card all day long as I'm not paying for
We
it.
found this line. We found the line. We found the line, chat. We found it.
Oh, I could benefit from someone else's bad decision. That's okay.
Yeah, that's called capitalism. Welcome. Welcome to America. Would you like an
That
eight?
one was for you, Geesh.
Would you like an $8 hot dog? Because I sell it for $1.50 at Costco. Uh, Hey guys, so we wanted to make a big announcement today. Today's episode is actually sponsored by Green Ember.
Woo!
Yeah. So it's a whole series, a whole book series by Story Warren, by S.D. Smith here. This is the actual book version. But the part that actually sponsored today's stream is the actual video game. So we're going to play
Mm.
the trailer and then talk a little bit about it and talk about some special things that they have going on. And then at the end, we'll tell you about how you could win a copy of this very book signed by the author. Oh, there it is. So, all right, let's hit that trailer. Boom. Boom.
Very cool. Yeah, so if you guys don't know anything about Green Ember, it's actually a best-selling book series, and this is their, I believe, debut game,
It
featuring
is.
the rabbit Helmer, excuse me. The game is called Helmer Into the Dragon Tomb. It is a puzzle adventure game. Just came out a couple months ago, end of 2025. It's a really cool game. The animation quality is pretty amazing. I was very impressed. The first time I saw the trailer for it was actually at Reach. The trailer debuted at Reach last year. Looks like a super cool game. And yeah, they gave us some merchandise, and we're going to be giving away some stuff.
Yeah, we're giving away one signed copy, but this just shows you how many books there are. This is a Green Ember series in my hands. So it's a whole packet of stuff that they sent over. And a t-shirt and this cool Helmer rabbit. Oh, this is a guy. You just saw him in action in the video game. And so you can get the game on Steam right now. And it's available fully. The full story is there. And what they did is they took the book and put it into the game. So you could play the game and play the story. You could play them together. Maybe play it with your kids. Maybe if you're a father figure, it's a great game to play with your kids. You could play along. They could watch you. You could take turns. It is a single-player adventure game, so you'd probably more than likely taking turns. And
Hmm.
and and the author themselves just written so many books, and I got to read a lot of them because now I have them all. So I have like there's a Jack Zulu that I think he co-wrote with his brother there. And then another book, The Found Boys. I didn't bring. There's one book you can't see that I'm reading with my son now. It's a funny book. Of course, they sent me a box, and there's one book that's about memes. So it's where I read with my son, so I can't go grab it. But I got a Tumbleweed series. That's totally different series that by the by these same guys, by the Story Warren team. So yeah, so if you are down for some hot action with rabbits and fighting bad guys that teaching good principles about honor and patience and commitment, this game has it all. So it's a linear story adventure game, and it's definitely not easy. I just want to be open with you. The game is hard. So like it's basically Elden Ring light. And then, did you want to say something before I give one
Yeah, I was gonna
last? Yeah.
say, and if you're an absolute gamer, they're actually starting a speed running community. So like if you are about that life, you can really conquer this game. They're getting something set up specifically for that.
Yes. So I'm gonna butcher the name, but I want to say it's called Helmer's Heroes, something along those lines, where they're gonna gather the top of the top. They want to speed. They want their game speed run by the best. So if you're a speed runner out there, and you want a new game, looking for some fresh recruits, looking for actual game dev, shout out support and other things in the speedrunning community, stay tuned. We will have those probably in the show notes. I'll get it from them. They're
Hmm.
literally designing it right now, so this is all fresh and new. You can have the world record for this game and the other challenges that they're coming up with. I think another one is like a no, like obviously Helmer has a sword even in rabbit form, but there's going to be one where you beat some portion of the game without a sword. I think it's something along the lines that carrots are stronger than swords. So you got to defeat some portion of the game with only carrots. So you'll be beat them with carrots. So thanks again, guys. Thanks, Green Ember team, Story Warren, Long Treader Games. Thank you guys for sponsoring today's episode.
Yeah, yeah. So I think like at the end of the day, it depends on who you are. Like for me, I am a very disciplined person. So I'm the type of person where I probably could have a credit card and never have to pay any interest on it. But at the same point, like, yes, am I missing out on some benefits of getting points and stuff like that? Yes. Like, bottom line, yes, I am missing out on some points. But at the end of the day, for me, it doesn't make that much a difference because I'm like, we're talking about like $200 in cash back or whatever, like probably more than that. But, you know, the end of the day, it's a very small amount. And I am okay with paying $200 or losing out on $200 for the just not having to deal with the headache of, did I pay my credit card this month? Do I have enough money that if it gets taken out, I don't overdraft my bank account, XYZ. Like, I just don't want to have to worry about that. I'll do my budget beginning of the month and plan out my month and pay for the money with my cash in my checking account. And I'm perfectly fine with that. Is it purely evil? Do I think Romans is a evil, sinful person for using a credit card? Yes. But no, no, I don't think it's like if you have a credit card and you're doing it in a smart way, ugh, that's free advertising. Get that out of here. Get that out of here.
I think it's my new
I
card.
God. Oh, I mean, I guess maybe that's the other way that I could be convinced is if I get sponsored. Then maybe if I'm making money, like actual money. But yeah, like if you're disciplined and you're able to make sure you never pay any credit card interest, and it's not the end of the world. You can get benefit. Legitimately can get benefits. But like also, if you don't have an emergency fund, whatever you
So my
do,
new card just came in. Sorry. Yeah. Got to your story. Oh, that's funny.
oh boy, it yeah, it is. If you don't have emergency fund though, like a credit card is dangerous because you could get it yourself into a situation where you can't pay it. You can't afford, like, especially if you're in like a rough situation right now, you could put yourself in a position where you have no other choice but to run up credit, and that's not a good thing, and it can put you in a really, really rough position.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. The interest rates we didn't even talk about it. 12, 15, 18, 24% interest. We've had enough episodes. We cry about it enough. We'll cry about it again If you're in credit card debt
Yeah.
right now, please do your best to get out of it. Obviously, it takes discipline. Please do not be in credit card debt if you're listening to this.
Whatever you do. All right. All right. Last one of the day. This is one I'm extremely passionate about because I've had numerous conversations with friends about this. Um, Budgeting is going to just make you miserable, so you should just not budget. I think, yeah, there's definitely a lot of people that hate budgeting, and I would argue that that's because you're looking at it in a wrong lens. But Romans, what do you think about budgeting? You do your budget every month?
So I don't know how to say this without sounding like bad. I used to budget
I
when
knew it. This
money.
is why I asked the question.
I used to budget when money mattered. Does that make sense? Man, I'll tell you, I gamified the crap out of my budget. I would have each month was a video game. Was the number positive or was it negative? Right now, I don't even know what the number is because my wife manages it. It's good to have a wife who's also a CPA and accountant. So I trust her to
Mhm.
handle it and tell me when we're overspending. So she kind of is the governor in it all. So I'm not totally reckless, but I
Yeah.
leave it in her hands to tell me when we're overblowing it. And the days of me going to Texas de Brazil or otherwise have died a sad, sad death. I'm pretty miserly in my ways these days. So it's kind of you don't need a budget if you're naturally inherently cheap. And I don't think most people are willing to do what I'm willing to do to be cheap, right? Like I'll fly with the chickens. I'll go to Costco to get gas. Like I am so after 20 something years of doing this thing, I am so cheap. So probably should just have an episode of every cheap thing I do, and we could just laugh about it.
Life hacks with Romans. Actually, that sounds like a fun episode.
You
We should
cut
definitely do that.
coupons? Heck yeah, I do.
In 2026, Romans is still cutting coupons.
Yeah, but I don't budget. But I don't. I also don't. Yeah,
Well, for the
yeah.
rest of
Mhm.
you, the rest of you, I think your frame of mind around a budget is wrong because I think I've seen this countless times where people will say like, "Yeah, I do my budget." And the budget consists of at the end of my month, I look at my statement from my credit card or from my debit card and I assign all of my purchases to their categories and I know how much money I spent on every single category. That's not a budget. You're just being an accountant. Congratulations, you're doing Roman's job. You're just tracking your expenses and it is completely a waste of time. If that is your budget, don't even do a budget because that's just a waste of time because you're not being intentional, you're not planning for the next month or for the current month. You're just assigning arbitrary like why can't I say that?
Arbitrary.
Arbitrary, that's the word. Yeah, arbitrary categories to the money you've already spent, which is completely pointless. If you're going to do a budget right, you need to at the beginning of the month make a plan for what you're going to spend your money on. And when you run out of money that you planned, you run out of money. You can adjust the budget if you absolutely need to. But if you say, I'm going to spend $100 going out to eat this month, you do not spend $200 going out to eat that month. You spend $100 going out to eat that month. And yes, this sounds pretty strict. But on the other side of that, when you actually do this consistently, when you actually build a budget before the month happens and then get to go throughout the month, follow your budget, there's actually a lot of freedom that comes with that because you are able to see before the month happens where your money's going to go and you can actually plan and you have no guilt whatsoever for spending the money. Like this it's the same thing with like tracking calories and stuff like that. But like a budget is actually giving you permission to spend your money. So when you go out to Chipotle and get your 49.99 a month dollar burrito, that you're going to be paying for the next 5 months, you don't have to feel bad about that because you budgeted it. Or when you like go to buy a game and you have said, I'm going to spend $60 this month on gaming, and you spend that money. Like you don't have to feel bad about it because that was your plan. So for me, like a lot of people say they hate doing their budget, but I actually like doing my budget because I get to spend my money. Like I get to look forward to all the delicious food I'm going to get from my meal plan. I do like I buy meals and stuff like that. But like and whether it be like buying a new set of cards that's coming out for Star Wars Unlimited or something like that, like I actually get to look forward to what I'm going to spend my money on and don't have to feel bad when I spend it because, oh, this money could have gone towards this. There's always something your money could have gone to that is quote unquote better. There's always, if you're spending money on one thing, it always could have been better for you to spend money in a different category or to save it or to invest it or XYZ. But when you have a budget that you've actually set out and follow, you never have to feel guilty about spending money the way you planned because that's your plan.
We haven't done it yet, but if you ever do stocks, dollar cost averaging, and it's more on the positive side of spending money, but if you ever just buy your favorite stock of a company that is super solid, obviously pending Scruffy agreeing to this, but so imagine for me at the end of the day, maybe you don't like Apple, but maybe you, or maybe the opposite, you love Apple. Apple really isn't going to go anywhere as far as I know. If you had just been buying Apple the last 20 years, just buy one share a month or whatever you can afford, one share a year. I don't know what it is these days. You
Oh gosh,
and
yeah.
it has exploded. I think it's grown by 10 to 20% every year for the past 10 years. So it's just like it's on an explosive growth pattern. Still not as good as Tesla and other stocks, but it's done really well. Or even Google, if you like Google. It's an interesting
Coca-Cola
exercise.
Consolidated. I know you just
Yeah,
spent
yeah.
some time with Mark Whitaker. Like that's legitimately a fantastic company that's grown super, super well. Like
Yeah,
there's a lot of companies out there that you can just consistently put a little bit of money into and see massive, massive growth.
if you can hang on for the long time. I had a buddy who recently
Hmm.
contacted me. He's like, "Oh, I own public stock," and he's calling me because like, should I sell it? And I actually he's the guy who pointed at you, and I'm like, well, I don't know
Yeah,
I don't know how to help you with that because I don't, you can't own public stock. It's a private company. But all he wanted to do was cash out, and I was just thinking, man, what what an interesting world we live in, where the only reason I get a call from a friend is to ask me how do I sell my public's
and they
stock.
pay a good dividend too. That's don't sell that.
Right? I did ask him, you look at the dividends lately? And he told me a number like, I did the math, and that's not bad. Dividends
Yeah,
are
it's a pretty decent
dividends
dividend.
for the non-intellectual or non-financial is free money. It's your allowance
Yeah.
from the ownership of the I would say it's your allowance from your stock, whatever stock you love. It is free money they give you, and
So
you
how it
decide.
actually works, how dividends actually work, is if a company's profitable, they're going to make earnings and they are obligated to give that to their shareholders. So your dividend is your share of the company profits. Like there's companies out there like AT&T, Verizon, ExxonMobil is a good one. Like ExxonMobil, it's a good company, matches all like if you're concerned about biblical values, they match all of those screens, and they are not like ExxonMobil is not trying to grow their business. They're an established company. They're, producing oil and gas. So they just give their money that they make, instead of investing it back into the business to make it bigger, they give it to their shareholders. So you just get your share of the profits from ExxonMobil. Um, and you have to do literally nothing except for own that stock. So,
Awesome. I didn't know that. Well, I do know that older companies are more dividend heavy. If there's no longer in a growth phase, if they're no longer expanding and growing, they've kind of reached their end game. Dividends are way more usual. So the older you get, the more you want to invest in those kinds of companies because less volatility and you just cash out. But topic for
mhm.
another day. Maybe we should do one for the rich people in the room because there's some out there.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, absolutely. And that's literally what I do for work is to if anyone's interested in learning more about stocks, investing, stuff like that, I'm your guy. Like whether it's you're just learning how to budget or learning how to like get out of a bad situation, I'm your guy. If you want to learn about getting started, investing for the future and starting to build wealth, I will tell you this now, it's not a short road. Like the uh opportunity of like hitting it rich with Bitcoin, like that's not what I'm going to be telling you to do. I'm not going to be helping you to become a millionaire in the next 3 years. That's not realistic for 99% of people. For 1% there's maybe an opportunity there. But slow and steady wins the race. If you're in your 20s and you have the opportunity to put money away, you can have a successful retirement. I don't care what the situation is. If you're in your 20s and are intentional, you can put yourself in a position to have a very successful retirement. So, talk to me.
Yeah. And if you want really bad tax advice, or if you want good advice, either way, don't talk to me. Talk to Scruffy. He'll tell you to talk to somebody else. Because we out here chilling. We're doing Reach Conference, trying to reach gamers, content creators, and scale their careers and help them create businesses they love. So create,
Yeah. Reach,
helping
yeah,
content
Reach
creators build careers they love. Wow,
yeah.
butchered it.
It's growing fast, man. What are we at now? Like, isn't it like I think you said like there's over almost 200 people have applied to be creators now, right?
Yeah, yeah. If you include those of the, we have 180 new people. So
Wow.
I'm sure we're over 200 if you count all the returning players. But yeah, it's quality over quantity. That's a fantastic. Praise God for that number. And our goal at Reach is 1,000 content creators reaching 1,000 people every streamed hour, so that we might reach 1 million people with God honoring content every day. So it doesn't mean they're all preachy or talking about Jesus every second of the day, but they are creating content that God would love. So that's what we're hoping
Yeah.
for. And they'll be making great, good, normal video game content, but we will find ways to make sure Jesus is in the mix, respectfully,
Yeah.
organically,
It's good.
authentically.
It's good.
Hmm.
Yeah. And Reach Conference 2026 is coming up. Tickets are going fast, man. Like they're going to be sold out before you know it. So if you want to come hang out with some great content creators, see some really cool stuff about game development this year, it is very, very exciting what's going on. So definitely hope to see you there.
Oh yeah, and hopefully in 30 days I'll have a big surprise to unveil. I think if it all comes together, it should be a really good time. You'll either love it
Nice.
or be in shock. I know you'll
Good
love it.
shock or bad shock?
I think you will love it. I think we'll see. I know I love it. It's I no one will see it coming though. What we're planning, and hopefully God will make it affordable, because sometimes I plan things that are not affordable, so I'll have to scale back. But by God's grace, we're building on faith and trust that I'm putting on the greatest show that should be affordable. I'm a pretty good gut check, shoot from the hips kind of guy. Just haven't taken the
Hmm.
time to do the math to figure out what it takes to build the thing. We have less than 200 tickets left, guys, for sure. 200. I can openly say I think we have 200 tickets available for sale right now, and that's it. We'll be at 750
Yeah.
tickets, and that's it.
Yeah. It's a really amazing experience. Romans and everyone that works with Reach puts in a lot of work to make this a really good value for what you're paying. You will absolutely get your money's worth from this ticket. It's a lot of fun. But I think zooming back into what we're talking about, like there's a lot of advice on the internet about money. Like you open social media for 5 minutes and you're probably going to get some sort of either ad or reel about someone giving money advice. And I think the big picture is like there's nuance to everything. Every little aspect of this. There might be a correct math answer, but the correct answer for you is what you're going to be able to do consistently over a long time. That's going to be able to put you ahead. So I think if you have questions, reach out to me. My information's in every single show document, on my email, my Discord. Reach out to me. I'm happy to help. And I think it can be complicated if you are looking at everything from, all at once. But if you break things down, take things one bite at a time, you can really make progress.
Awesome. So I hope to hear some hero stories soon. I hope you guys are listening and actually not just listening. Oh, that was cool. I hope you're doing. Be a doer,
Hmm.
not a okayer. Do we are doers here. So do something about it. Fight that good fight. Dig yourself out of the hole you're in. Um, it's worth it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this has been Dollars, Lifestyle, and Charity, a finance podcast for gamers. We'll see you next time.
Bye.